Yeah, but that's how you know you're not good, because the people around you wasn't trying to cash in.
I ain't gonna lie.
That's how I knew I wasn't supposed to be a hooper. Not one person in my family would vouch for my hooping right now. And I was like, oh, I'm not good. That's all that shit means. They came to the game, and afterwards they were congratulating shit that didn't make sense. Hey, man, you know, you got real good sportsmanship. And it's like, nigga. Like, bro, like,
Good
really?
sportsmanship.
Like,
your handshake
bro,
solid,
that was... Yo, what is up, and welcome to another episode of the Miseducation of Music. You are here with J-Treb as always, but today I have a special guest, man. None other than the producer, the activist, the journalist, man. On top of that, you an actor, you a director a little bit too. We're going to dive into that part, but we got the rapper in here, man, the third, G, man. Say what's up to the people.
What's going on, G? I'm happy to be here.
Man, I am so glad you can make it onto the show. You've been on my list for a minute, bro. Season 4 is all about all the people who are in my headphones. Bro, like, I got to get everybody who's in my headphones on the show, bro. We're going to dive into color, because I'm going to tell you right now, Soul Factor been on repeat. And we're going to talk about tracks like that and dive in, man. But I love to tell people first exposure. And my first exposure to you was actually on social media. I had seen something of you rapping. It might have been I want to say it was during the pandemic. Was it called... damn, I cannot believe I'm forgetting the name. Fully
Realized?
Fully Realized, yes.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's one of my favorite songs. That's
yeah,
fire.
yes, my G. So Fully Realized, that was dope. And then I even watched online about it. That's why I was like, man, we got to call you a director and an actor as well, my G. Like, bro, you got videos online that go along with it. And just the way everything is described in your music and the words you choose, bro, like, I dove straight in, and I was a fan, like, from right there, bro. So I'm so glad to have you on the show, man. We got to talk about all this dope content you creating, man. You're a person who's out here describing their own raps to people online, man. You got all of this dope content you make. We were listening to one of your freestyles before we came in here, one of the Instagram joints where you had the phone up. And, bro, the words, insanity. It was the one you said was inspired by FemDot. I'm just like, how is he telling such good stories?
Oh, man.
Like, man, look, let's dive in, G. I love to know people's early inspiration, so let's just start there to dive in. What was the early inspiration that even made you want to pick up a microphone or a pen, bro?
Bro, okay, so my dad was a poet. I grew up around a bunch of OG artists and authors and writers in the city. Yeah, so like since I was super young, he would take me to all these open mics and shows that him and his homies would like ride around and do. So I just always been around, just super talented, like. You know what I'm saying? Award-winning, you know what I'm saying? Authors
you didn't have
and
a choice, man. This was almost in you from jump.
I was locked in from the jump. And so, like, it became official probably around, like, man, I want to say it was, I was probably listening to Common. My dad put me onto a lot of Common. Mos Def, Lecrae. Those probably like the top 3 artists that I really locked in with. That was like, I see this. Common has a song called "The Corners," I believe.
Oh man!
I think The Corners, the music video for The Corners takes place and Kanye was another one, but like that video takes place on like 47th and King Drive, like right under the Green Line, I want to say. And at the time, I was staying in Chatham around that time, but like watching it, I'm like, I know exactly where that's at. And like also listening to the song.
That just made it all seem so achievable.
Yeah, and I'm just like, I realized like, yo, this is very homegrown. This is very like grass-fed, like from grassroots. It's like, bro,
the people from Chicago are rooting you on.
They're so, you know what I'm saying? Right. And so I'm like, yo, if I can take the things I have to say and, you know what I'm saying, I have like a direction for it. Like that gave me the direction. Like I want to write about where I come from, where I grew up at. You know what I'm saying? Common, a lot of his stuff is talking about like, you know, the reality of where he came up in, the place that inspired him, what he wants to see change in these different places. Like, and so I'm like, yo, like that's me. Like that's what I want to do. I want to document and chronicle all these like things that I'm seeing around me from day-to-day life into like song form.
It's like, let me just take this. This is the movie right here, but like I'm gonna be a part of this script.
Yes.
Man, that's so dope. Yes. Now, what age are we talking around here where you noticed these things?
I knew that's when I fell in love with music. So we're talking about like, yikes, maybe like I was like 9, 10 years old.
Okay, so you had the bug young. Now, how long did it take from 9, 10-year-old you to finally putting, you know, that first verse down, you know, saying you an artist with it or saying you're a poet with it?
So I I started writing poems probably around like 11 or 12. So
okay, not too much time off.
Yeah, I was doing a lot of so I've been listening to music like all my life, but I fell in love with it, like I said, probably around like maybe
that was
9 years old.
Consciously noticing music now.
Yeah, because you know what I'm saying, you grow up a kid, you're like video games and TV.
Yep.
You know what I mean? Like that's what else is there?
You're not trying to think about the lyrical structure of the latest
nobody's
music on the radio.
Composition. I wanted video games, TV, and then like around like 8, I want to say 9 years old was like when I was like, I want more music. Like, what else you got for me to listen to?
I got to start searching on my own now. This is my new video game.
Yeah, like I grew up growing up in church. Like, that's probably one of the things that like roots me the most as a person. Mm-hmm. But growing up in church, we like rap was a very like no.
Oh yeah.
Thing.
I know.
Yeah. So and it wasn't even because like we don't like rap music. It was just because of the rap music that was out around the time.
I was about to say gangster rap is very popular.
It was like, okay,
if
that's what rap is, then no to that. You know what I'm saying?
If it's 50 Cent, we can't give you a stamp of approval right now.
Exactly.
If it's Lil Wayne, we cannot just say, go listen to that.
Exactly. So to this day, when I let people know that I came up with in church that I rap, they're like, oh, okay, all right. It's the same reaction. It happens so often that I can do it myself now, where they're like, oh, okay, all right. And there's always the curious one. It's like, what's it about? That I'll pray for you. And then it's like, what's it about? You know what I'm saying? So like, my dad just so happened to be. He was also an artist. He grew up. He was the pastor's son. I'm the pastor's grandson. So like, it was tight. It was tight in there. And my dad already being an artist, and you know what I'm saying, also having a balance.
He broke the mold for you to even kind of be in there.
Yeah, he slid that in there for me. And so like, I just became very enamored with like, just music and like how music does its thing. And I didn't really start writing poetry probably till I was like 12. I want to say like 11 or 12.
Awesome, man.
So I had a notebook and I was in class when I was supposed to be doing work and classwork. I was writing poems and short stories. That's what it was. Poems and short stories would make it a thing.
Nice, man. Okay, so we got the poems and the short stories. And this is around like right before you go into high school. Now, are you one of the people where high school was like, now it's time to focus in on actually being a rapper, or was there still some more time?
By the time high school came around, I was locked in. I've been performing. Okay. So I came up through YCA, Young Chicago Authors, and like that was a performance space I grew up. Yeah, shout out to them. Like I came up through them probably since I was like 13. I've been going to their workshops on weekends.
I was about to say, so that's a lot of people in the city that you also got some connections with.
That's where I got a lot of my connections.
I was about to say the open mic events, those were also like I know a lot of people who were in YCA who were at those open mic events and things like that.
Mm-hmm. Every Tuesday, and then the workshops every Saturday. I've been going there. So like by the time I got to high school, I was already locked in. Like, oh yeah, I'm a rapper. Like that's what I do.
It's like I know this is a viable path.
I performed at the luncheons and the pep rallies since 7th, 8th grade. You know what I'm saying?
It's like I have no fear. This is what I'm supposed to be. I'm
like, I came in here a rapper. So like now at the lunch tables, we're making beats at the lunch tables. Like that's what it's like. That's like what else would I do? You know what I mean? Like so it was very natural. I hadn't decided that I was going to take it seriously as a career path or as a potential career path until probably my junior year of high school.
Okay, so you was just putting in those hours. And now, does the confidence, I mean, look, you have a lot of confidence in your craft, and it sounds like you had a lot of confidence in your craft then for knowing the work. Now, did that come from any peers around you or any OGs that were kind of around you at this time?
Because I was raised by a lot of old folks in the artist community, I got a lot of cosigns from older folks. Definitely. Or like, this is it.
It was like, he knows what he's doing.
Yeah.
Please listen.
Yeah, and I was, I'm well read because of the older folks. Like those people who like not only like gassing the verses and the poems, but also like hear books to fuel.
Yeah, and that's what's dope, man. I love all those like OGs that are just like a little bit older than you with that little extra knowledge you need going into your next step. Yeah. Those were always the people who like dropped the best gems. They were like, look, this is what they not telling you right now. This is what you need if you want to be above all of the rest of them right now.
And so I'm like that. Like that's what's gonna separate because not everybody. There are a lot of people rapping. There are a lot of people putting
trying
words to beats, right? And so I'm like, what is my separator? Like what separates me? And so like I'm like, yeah, that's me. That's what I do. I take what I've learned and what I've read and what I've watched, and then I like put it in a way that not only that makes sense to me, but then what makes it one of my peers. That's like, who may not have read or watched or experienced what I read, watched, or experienced. Yeah. That's like kind of my thing. So now I'm like, you know, getting that affirmation from like my OGs, and then like I said, been doing YCA and like going through the open mics. That's where I got my confidence performing at. Just being there, sharpening that craft, and just being up there like almost weekly. And then U Media was a space that I would go, of course, like as most artists,
man.
every Wednesday. So I was like 2 times a week, at least 2 times a week. I was
just doing something
up in
creative,
front of people,
keeping that pen going.
Just making it happen.
Man. And I can see how that can lead you to junior year saying, "Yep,
junior year." I was like,
"This is what's happening, man." Okay, now you gotta take me through it. Now I feel like we're getting into the part of the story that's building the third that's right in front of me today.
Yeah.
So you're in your junior year. You've decided rap is the way you want to go. I got a specific question I got to ask you. What was the first rap name?
Jesus Christ.
Come on, man. I gotta know.
This is coming up on like 10 years. I've been doing this. I never thought. I just knew. I'm like, I've escaped this question this long.
It's like, bro, nobody's about to say it.
Yeah,
no, man, I'm sorry.
That's crazy.
Trust me, every time I do one of these episodes, I try to look for it, and yours has eluded me. So
You're doing your job
know,
very
man.
well.
I gotta know.
Very well. Okay, so, oh man. All right. Okay, so my first one was Ari.
Okay.
My real name, damn, I'm about to say this on camera. That's crazy.
I found that out through a couple of interviews in the past. I didn't know if you wanted to share it, but that name does play off of your government.
I usually don't,
you don't have to
on
if you
camera.
don't want to, man.
That's crazy. Okay, so you know my real name.
I do.
Right.
And
so
that plays off your real name.
It was Ari, yes. It was like Auree. That was like my, you know what I'm saying? And then I was like, okay, there's that. And then it just didn't really work out. I don't know what changed.
It just wasn't clicking for you. You were like, this is not the persona.
Yeah, and I was like, okay, fine. Now I changed it to initials, so it was AR3. That was like the so I was like my first name, last name, and then me being like the third.
So
right.
You got it on there.
So I was like AR3. I was like, okay, that works. Before that it was yikes. All right,
man,
so
that's what I'm saying. What's the other ones in between? You remembering them all now?
Yeah. I can't even look into the camera while I was saying. So there was Trey Jersey. That was it. That was Trey Jersey.
That sounds like a time period name.
Yeah,
that sounds like
I'm cringing. So it was Trey Jersey for a little while, and then I realized exactly how unoriginal and like how far I was going to get with that.
It kind of feels like I'm mixing together.
Yeah, I'm forcing it. I'm heavy forcing it. So I'm like, okay, so we got to try something else. I think I took AR3. I was like the last one up until like my sophomore year of high school. No, I want to say my freshman year of high school.
Okay.
I was trying out to be on Louder Than a Bomb was like happening. That's like
wow. Okay.
So I was doing Louder Than a Bomb, and I was trying out for my team. I went to Kenwood, so I was trying out for my team, and my performance coach, my first performance coach, shout out to AJ, was like, we were going around introducing ourselves, and everybody was like saying like their artist names or names they'd rather go by and everything. I didn't have one. Mm-hmm. I was kind of just Trey, and like trying to figure out if I was going to. I hadn't taken rap seriously yet.
Yeah. So this was do I have to make the decision of what the name is?
Yeah, I was like, is this happening right now? And so I was like, yeah, Trey. My name's Trey. I passed it on to the next person. He was like, I know your real name. And I was like, oh my God. And so my real name is not for real a secret, but it is. And I like it now. I'm not ashamed of it at all.
Yeah, but at that time period, it was different.
Yeah, it was definitely a secret. But that's
you
the thing.
already said that you're a third, so this is a name that's passed on.
Yeah,
this is a name where it's like,
there's
I didn't really have a choice here.
Heavy.
This name has history.
Heavy on the legacy, yeah.
It's like,
and so, but at the time though, I used to be, because like people would like use it to like make fun of me. Like that was it was a point or like a roast point. I'm like, oh, like your name is this, and I'm like, so now I'm like, now we'll go by Trey. We'll just go by Trey. I didn't get comfortable with it probably till like my eighth grade, my freshman year of high school. Mm-hmm. I became okay with it, and like, you know what I'm saying, really like leaned into it. I love that name. It's awesome. But he was like, I know your real name, and I was like, oh, he about to start making fun of me. He was like, no, but what if it was? I think he said like La Third or something. He was being funny, but then it came up to be like the third, and I was like,
well, shit, it kind of makes some sense.
Like, I am.
It's like, I'm the third.
I am.
We
that
use
is
a
me.
lot of stuff off of this. It's a good number.
That's me. I love that. It's my favorite number ever.
So is that literally how the name happened?
That's exactly
right there?
how it started.
And then
I We need to catch up. But I'm
It's
gonna reach out really
like
soon.
I can
really
prove
soon.
to you that this is really how it happened.
But
that's what's up, man.
Yeah, we were sitting there. Yeah, I remember the classroom we were in and everything. But yeah, that was during tryouts for J-Treb. He gave me that name, and I was just like, "Yep, that's it."
That's what's up. Now that's how you got the name. But now I want to ask you, what does it mean now? Because you can always like I'm assuming you have meanings for it now that are different than my homie said it. Like
yeah. So the third is really just like this is my homage to like my real name and my identity, right? And attaching my rapper's identity versus my true, you know what I'm saying? Which
it's the combination of the two instead of one and then another.
Exactly. And then also paying homage to also the legacy that I'm continuing to carry on from my father and his father.
Now we got this awesome history about how you got here, how you became the third. Now, I want to know, what was that early recording process for you? Was it some, let me put the pen down to the page and get it all ready before I get over to the studio? Or is it like you were making beats and you were doing that? What's like, take me through making your first track, like one of your early songs. What was the process? Okay,
so real early, my dad, I didn't realize how like blessed I was to have this until much later, but like he got me my own. I had a Dell computer. I had my own Dell computer in my room.
Mm-hmm. Oh man, that is like top tier.
Yeah, in my room. Like I wake up and it's right there. My own Dell computer with the monitor, set up everything, some like mini like speakers, and he put Audacity on it, and he gave me like a little snowball mic, and then he had a hard drive that was like loaded up with a bunch of instrumentals of people. So like,
man, come on, you was set up for success.
Gee, so like he just put a bunch of like he just ripped a bunch of like Common and Kanye, a lot of my favorite artists at the time. Yeah, so it's like I just opened it, I just double clicked the folder and it's the Jesus Walk instrumental, the Corners instrumental. You know what I'm saying? Like I just had all these instrumentals from different artists, and so I would just find one I liked and just write to it. Man. I would just write in my journal and just write.
That was the process?
That was the process. And then I was like, when I felt like I was rocking with it, I would just before I started recording, I would just read it to myself. I would just perform these like verses.
Just concerts in the bedroom, bro.
Just walking around just rapping these like, yo, I made a rap. You know what I'm saying? It was really just a long verse, but I was like, I made a rap.
Like,
you know
I'm so impressed with myself, you could not tell me anything at
Not at all. What? I just wrote this, you know? And so like that was how that started. And then I opened Audacity, used the mic, and started recording my raps right there. Like just like and their recordings are crazy trash. Quality wise.
I was about to say,
you know what I'm saying? Yeah, it was.
We're dealing with a time period here.
Exactly.
You said there was a tower and a monitor with separate speakers.
Yeah.
That's an all-in-one combo for most kids born in today's world.
That's a fact.
Like, they don't even know that those things are separate unless you're doing a gaming setup these days.
That part. So I'm like, yeah, this is like, I'm over here like recording. I record these raps and then that will be it. And I was just like, wow, they just stayed on the folder. They didn't go anywhere.
And then how did it evolve from there when you started taking it seriously, that junior year? Where were you at there with the recording process?
By that time, I think I'd already dropped one song. This song, and that was around the time I stopped using the instrumentals that were on that folder, and I started traversing YouTube and the type
I can
beats.
Find anything.
Yes, and so now type. I'm like piano instrumental. Like, you know what I'm saying?
Piano, 78 beats per minute. Like
I'm
getting
like,
down in the weeds.
Yeah, I'm like hard poetic type beat. You know what I'm saying? Like just really like, you know what I'm saying?
Those are the best days though when you figure that unlock, bro. It's like I have a whole world right here.
It's like, wow.
It's like, this is how you convert a YouTube video to an MP3?
When I found out how to do that, it was over. Everything was
like
getting ripped.
It's like y'all should have never shown me this.
I'm like, so now I'm like, I got all these instrumentals, and so I recorded. I think my first song I ever recorded, oh goodness, was called "Smooth Criminal," and it was it's out. It's out. I shouldn't have said that, but like I realized what I was gonna say next was gonna let y'all know that it's out. But it's a song called "Smooth Criminal" that I recorded and just kind of like end up putting out later. But yeah, I think that was like the first one I ever like recorded and like exported and was like done.
And you
with.
did that all yourself still. So this is still self-contained. Now,
All
did
this
you
stuff.
did you ever venture into the studios and things like that?
First studio I ever went to was U-Media Studio.
Okay,
Yeah,
definitely,
heavy shout out to
U
U-Media.
Media, man. Shout out, like, and for those of you at home who don't know about U Media, that is just an amazing program for the Chicagoans of the city. I'm talking about like the name, names that came through there, even if you might not
No
think
Name.
you do. No Name specifically, man. Shout out to the city. No Name, Chance, Vic. All of these people were around the U Media experience when it was actually coming up and when it was being developed. So like to hear that there are so many people that are products of it and receive so much dope stuff, because like to be able to record. Do you know how big of a deal that is? You saying that you could do it on your own at that time was great, but then to also be able to go over to U-Media had to be awesome to kind of get your real experience.
And that put me onto the real experience. The quality of it all was like, that's where
it was
I
like,
came
this
from.
is the difference between me and my snowball.
Yes, yes. I went back home and was like, what have I been doing? What have I been doing?
I need to redo the whole studio room. I need to redo the whole bedroom. I need to do everything.
Over. And so I'm like, so like U-Media was like the first time I like was recording in there, and like being able to just have that was amazing. So definitely shout out to U-Media. But yeah, by my junior year, I think I was back and forth to U-Media like frequently, booking time, being in there for free, which is fire.
That's the most amazing part of it all.
For the free.
We're not talking about for a discounted rate. We're not talking about.
I feel like I came into the like creative scene at the perfect time.
Yeah.
At the perfect time where it was kind of like all these resources.
I was about to say definitely, because I mean I'm part of like I feel like the same age group where it's like Chance and all of them were just going off and people understood investing in arts.
Yes.
People were getting it because they were seeing an immediate return through people like Chance, and you got Vic Mensa, you got No Name, you got Jamila Woods, all of these amazing people. I mean, Mick Jiggs, like we could go on and on about that that time period where it's like people were like, oh no, kids from Chicago have a lot of art. Like we should just let them go crazy with it. Like, and I feel like that is a lot of what we're seeing right now are the people who are products of that. Like for you sitting on this couch, for a person like me, to all the other artists that I've had on the show, we're all products of that energy that got put in the city.
Yeah. Yeah. I think even just being able to see them like blow up and do their thing was like proof that it works.
Oh yeah, the same way how you said you saw Common rapping underneath the green line.
Yeah,
it was like you see Common under green line. I see Chance with the Hebrew Brantley drawings over the video, riding on top of a freaking CTA bus and train and shit like that. Bro, guerrilla marketing, really handing out flyers and posters. Like, if you went to any of the early Chance shows, you really could have just sat there and talked to them.
Yeah.
Like, and it was like, that's why we loved it, though. It was like, this is the city. This is us represented.
And you learn it was so encouraging for, like, my line of artists who are like, oh, this can actually be done. And then to see him like do the things he's doing now, I'm like,
oh yeah, he's on The Voice now. I don't know if y'all saw that. He just put out a commercial. He's gonna be on The Voice.
That's crazy.
Him and Niall Horan are the new additions, and I was like,
wow.
Chance the Rapper next to a dude from One Direction are the two new additions to The Voice. Like, bro, that's insane.
That's crazy.
Like, tell me we can't do it. You know what I'm saying? It's one of those things.
And now it's like, okay, now it's not just like a passion or a hobby. Now this is like a direction.
Yeah.
And that's when it became like seeing him do it. I was like, oh, this is not just this is not for play.
It's
like,
not. It's like we could really do something with this,
really
man.
do this. You know what I'm saying?
G, I think that you took those lessons and you applied them perfectly well, because I would argue that you are in a great spot now, bro. I feel like I hear so many people talking about your music. I always see you getting reposted, man. You've been doing all of these shows. I've been following so close to the story because I got to come out to one of these shows you're doing, man. It seems like you are performing everywhere these days. This is a question that I ask everybody, and I have to ask you, because you're the one who I am now the most interested in what the answer is.
Talk to me.
When we're creatives, we have to use our creativity not only for the purpose of creating the art that we're going to make, but we also have to use it as, you know, like a tool to advance ourselves in a career. Mm-hmm. How do you make sure that you don't burn yourself out? What are you doing to take care of your creativity? Like, for somebody who writes every single day, for somebody who's been writing as long as you do you have to completely step away? Do you have to just, go, okay, I'm just going to stop overthinking in this section? Like, what's your reset from rapping and thinking about music, I guess?
I would say, I think my thing is living life. I got this. Who told me this? This was film. Me. I remember this was during quarantine. Mm-hmm. I was going through this phase where I couldn't think of anything. And usually my thing, when people ask me like what inspires me or like what keeps me like going, is like, oh, I'll just listen to other good artists, or I'll listen. Jazz is like a thing that like inspires me a lot. Weirdly, not weirdly, but like
I was gonna say not weird at all, man.
Yeah, that keeps me.
Improvisation in real time will always be inspirational in my opinion.
Yeah, and so I'm like that reading good books, listening to other good artists, not just other good rappers, but other good artists in general, keeps me like inspired and keeps me going. But I was sitting up in Nini's. It was me, Femdot, and Thelonious Martin was sitting from across.
Man, shout out, bro. What are these tables?
That was my first time sitting.
What are these tables you sit at, bro? We talking about big Chicago hitters.
We were up at
like, all of y'all, man.
We were up at Nini's before Nini's became what we
before
knew.
Nini's Nini.
Yeah,
if you know, you from the city. Like
before Nini's Nini, I met with Femdot. I didn't know Thelonious was gonna be there, but we're sitting down. We're talking about the album. And I talked about a part of this conversation actually at the end of Colors, at the end of Colors, but we were just talking about like what's been going on with us and like life and catching up and everything. And I was like, I can't seem to like get this out, these ideas out, these thoughts I have, these words, and I'm new to this. Fem is also somebody who writes daily, like all the time for a really long time, and so you know what I'm saying, he understood and he was just like, yo, like just live life.
Go get something to rap about.
And I was like, that's so goofy. Like live life is
like
such
you did not just give me that easy information.
Yeah, bro, what?
And really just change it all up.
And I realized I write best on the move.
So it's like when you have something to do, the inspiration hits you while you're doing it.
While I'm doing it, I like daily. There's like things I'll be doing. I just thought of it. Even if it's not like a concept, I like just thought of a bar. I'm done. Like So
the answer here seems like you kind of don't pressure it in any way. So there's your creativity doesn't get an opportunity these days to get stressed out because you're just you take it as it is and you'll go ahead and let it flourish when it happens.
The only pressure I probably get is like before the day ends, you have to have 16 bars out. That's the
understandable.
Only pressure. Yeah,
but
that's just for discipline purposes.
I'd argue that's the work aspect.
Yeah, that's just discipline.
That's
purposes.
The part of like
that's the only thing I force.
Yeah, it's like you're claiming this as a job, and I would argue that's just a part of it.
Right.
That's just a part of the job.
Yeah. So like he was like live life, and I was just like, and he was like just go out and like experience things, and I did the math, and I was like, yeah, some of the best, my favorite stuff I wrote was before I had a car. I was on a 6 bus, taking a bus downtown.
Oh man,
to school.
I feel like my music sounded better when I used to have to take the CTA around the city
on a red line.
I don't know what it was, man. Back in the day,
all them natural elements.
Before, bro, you be outside, it's cold as hell, but for some reason, this song in my headphones sounds amazing.
Yes,
like
yes, it's great. And so I'm like, yo, I realized that. So like, I would start traveling. I went to last August. I was in LA, and just being on a plane and like landing and being in LA for the first time,
having all of those moments compiled just brings the art back up.
Yeah, I was kind of like, oh, I've got an idea. You know what I'm saying? Like just being there, having conversations, talking to my elders. Like those are things. That's something I like heavily encourage all people around my age to do. And any like
get that knowledge
you
from
have
OGs.
Elders, talk to your elders. These people like, you talk like so well. You sound so smart. These are not my.
Like no,
this didn't come from me.
I'm adapting what they're saying to me to our current times.
I'm just like, yeah, back out.
They said it to me, and I just related it to the world today.
That's exactly what it is. And I'm just like, yo, like speaking to your elders helps so much.
That's what's up.
You know what I'm saying? And like, yeah, he was like, live life. And now that's my thing. Like, I just go on, if it's small, like going on a car ride, like just down Lakeshore Drive and come back. Or if I'm like, you know what I'm saying? If I'm at work, I'm a teacher. So like I'm an English teacher. I also teach creative writing. And so a lot of times what happens is
bro, that make too much sense.
Crazy. And you know what's funny? None of my coworkers really know I make music. They know I'm a rapper.
Man, how?
I'm just there. You know what I'm saying?
I am here to do this job.
So like what I would do is I like teach and then I like get an idea about, I give them stuff to write about. I give them prompts and different things. I'm teaching them skills, and then they'll make something, you know what I'm saying, privy to me that I'm like,
it's like, well, you went a whole different direction.
That's a good idea. And I'll take that and go put it on a project. Or like, you know what I'm saying, and vice versa. Freedom freedom. I walked into class. We used to call it the bell ringer, but like our opening prompt was like, "Yo, like, what does being free mean to you?" Mm-hmm. As kids, as 12-year-olds, what does being free mean to you?
Man, and I bet you got the craziest answers back.
And
you got some of the dopest, craziest things. You're like, how did you even come up with this?
It was crazy because it was like there's a span of answers where it's like, oh, I can have chips whenever I want to, and it's like,
okay. Yes.
All right,
you have a
that's because you're 12 and you usually have to ask,
that
right?
Is freedom.
But like, also there are people who are like, yo, I don't. What are like taxes? We don't want to do taxes. We don't want to.
That would make me
have
free.
to owe the government money. You know what I'm saying? So my mom owes the government money. I'm like, dang, I didn't need to know that. But also, you know what I'm saying?
I don't think you're supposed to say that outside the house.
That's financial freedom, and
like,
that's not something I was thinking about at 12, right?
At all.
At 12, I was trying to figure out how close the fridge had to be before the light went off.
Bro, same.
That's what I was doing at 12.
Or could you like crack it and the water still work on the frozen side? Bro, come on. I'm on the same too.
I'm like, yeah, no.
All I wanted
this is crazy.
Free for me would have been unlimited music or something. Like, how do you know you free? I can download whatever song I want. That's it. That's all I need.
And so like they were like, Mr. A, like do you have something that you could share? A few of my students figured out our rap because the internet is just accessible.
The internet.
Oh, yeah. And so they were like, do you have like first we were doing poems, and they were like, do you have something that you could like write to like what is like freedom mean to you? Did you write? And usually I sit there and I'll grade other papers. I'll like do something while they finish and give them their time. But they were like, can you write this time? And I was like, sure. And that's where freedom came from, off the project.
Man.
Freedom is my kids asking me to write about what freedom means to me.
Man, come on, G.
So that's a verse where I was just
but that's life, man. And I'd argue that's exactly what you were told in that meeting you had, where it's like, just go live life.
Just stay,
like, you would have never gotten that had you not been in the moment.
I would have sat there and graded papers like every other time.
Yeah, exactly. If you didn't, I mean, like, for that to even be an opportunity that pops up, man, it just shows me that I think you might be one of the healthiest of taking care of your creative space, man.
I'm trying, man.
I'm trying to take some notes from you, bro. I got to get on my live the life, man.
Just live that life. It'll come to you, I promise. People are like, oh, like some people are in a space where they're like, oh, if I want to do this, I have to concentrate on it. Like I have to sit here, make a song. And I'm like
what? So what is up next for the third, man? What are the projects in the works? What do you have ready? You know, what's going to come out soon?
Man, yeah, we're dropping a single real soon.
Okay.
I'm gonna make sure you hear that.
Oh, man. Sure. No, I 100% want to hear this song.
Yeah, we're going to make that happen. We got a really good single coming out soon. Me and my manager were just in the car developing a master plan for this next year.
Oh, man. That's how you know it's good. That's how you know you got some good stuff on the way.
We're in album mode. We're in album mode officially.
Okay.
We're officially kicked into album mode. So everything that happens now is a build-up for the Southside Sonnet coming out 2023.
That's awesome, man.
I just said that out loud. That's crazy.
Wait, man. I cannot wait for that to come out, man. The Southside Sonnet. Now, look, everybody at home, make sure you are tuned into the third, man. Make sure you're tuned in on all the platforms. Make sure you got all the music that's coming out. Now, I love to make every single episode that I do with an artist, I want their song to be on the outro. What song do you want to put people onto? And we talked a lot about the lyrics, so they gonna listen today. What song do you want them to have for the outro right here that they need to go listen to and add to their library?
What song is supposed to be out on the outro right now? Let's do Fully Realized.
Fully Realized. Look, you're listening to it right now. Oh, y'all got to dive in. Y'all run it back after you hear it for the first time. Look, now make sure you are going to go get this track and make sure you are make sure you are following the third on everything, man. Thank you so much for coming on to the podcast, man. It's so dope to have you on the show. Everybody at home, make sure you are liking, commenting, and subscribing on this show, man. Thank you all for tuning into this episode, and make sure you're playing this episode for your mom, your dad, play for your baby mama, your sister, your dog, your cat, play for your house while it's settling, man. This podcast is good for everything. It's good for your morning commute and when you go to bed at night. Thank you all for tuning in. We'll catch you in the next one. Deuce.
Silent killer, I'll see you at midnight. I pray you get up, I hope you get right. I hope you down for the cause, hold it down for us all. If you fall, we gon' call for backup. Silent killer.